Thank you, Father, for the day. Thank you for the opportunity to have this incredible conversation with the lovely, and I hope I pronounce your name correctly, Luca Firanescu Shaked.
Perfectly.
Yay.
Shaked, but it's fine. It's shake but not steered. You know James Bond?
Yes, I love James Bond, and that's so fun. Shaken, not
Thank you
stirred.
for having me, Carol. It's a pleasure.
Oh my goodness, Luca. Audience, Luca's coming to us today from Portugal. And it's just it's such a gift to visit with incredible people from all around the world and to share and connect and realize that as far away as we are from one another and from whether it's different ages, upbringings, education, different religions, different races, we are all so very connected. And Luca and I connect on many levels. I did tell her that, of course, she's young, gorgeous, and all the things. Maybe not those levels, but
I'm blushing already. My little sister.
but she is a writer, a speaker, a podcaster, and it's so much fun because I love this. Most importantly, she's a wife and a mother, and she loves every role that she takes on. And I want to show you this book. It might be in her background as well. If you're watching, you're going to see this is 99 mistakes I made as a mom and what I wish I knew. So mine just arrived. I've only been able to go through the chapters, look at the titles. I needed this long ago. I'm going to share this with all moms and young mothers and moms that want to be moms, who I always think about so much. If you're listening and you're someone who hopes to be a mom, I just want you to know that you're always lifted up in love and prayer. And so here we are today with Luca from Portugal, and she's going to talk to us about her beautiful journey and what inspired this wonderful book. Luca, welcome. I know the audience is so excited, and just welcome. We are so thrilled you're here.
Thank you so much. What an intro. Now I'm like, wow, I have to deliver with such a presentation now. I'm feeling that I really now I have to stand up for expectations. And as you mentioned, I'm also a podcaster myself. So I would like to start with, I want to switch a bit the roles just for a second, and then I promise that I will talk to you. I will answer to you all the questions. But the host in me wanted to ask you because you talk so beautifully about my book, and I want to switch a bit the roles and just to ask you, what do you think was your biggest mistake in general, like as a mom or as a person, and a mistake that you actually made you grow, a mistake, anything that comes to
I'm
your mind?
covered in chills, and I know exactly the mistake. I did not live in each present moment. I did not stay present enough ever. I did not, I really didn't know how, it turns out. And to this day, every day, I start the day intentionally in thanksgiving and in prayer. And the number one prayer is, please keep me present with you. So
Mhm.
that is my biggest mistake.
Well, thank you for sharing. And there is also it is one of my mistakes also in the out of the 99 mistakes. And I got a lot of jokes about it, like, oh, only 99 mistakes. Like, well, you're a good mom. That means that you're really a good mom, you know? And then I had my daughter saying, one of my daughters, right before the book was supposed to be launched, and she was crying. She said, I think you're the best mom ever. I don't think you ever made any mistake. I think that the book is a mistake. And I was there, I was like, this is the best compliment I've ever gotten as a mom. And then I shared it with the editor, and she was like, oh, I would use that.
Yes, yes.
So
Unbelievable. And I know your daughters have such beautiful names. Would you please share their names?
Yes, Sienna in summer.
Yes, just so beautiful. So tell Luca, and because I have not gotten
Yeah,
to
yes, it's
hear
getting there.
the
I don't want to give you any spoilers, but yeah, well, what was your question? I just wanted to say
what
that
would you say your number one is? Do you have a number one mistake?
I have been asked a lot about this question, but I don't have a number one because I think it matters of the time, like of the girls are now they turn 10 in December. So I think it's mistakes, it's going through before the pregnancy and it's walking through when they were like babies and then they turn into toddlers and from toddlers to preteen. I think I'm getting another book, maybe two other volumes when they're gonna turn to be a teenagers.
Yes, yes.
A lot of materials. So I think that for each age there was like a different mistake that I did, and this is one of the questions that everybody was asked, like, so what is the biggest mistake? I was like, all of them are mine. I love them all, but just to give you some example, I think that the perfectionism, it
Oh,
was one of the, I imagined myself as a perfect mom. And I think this is one of the things that it appeared on all the ages, but also because we talked before, I think the self-care, the fact that I didn't know how to embrace myself and my needs and my expectations of myself. How we start talking about expectations. I
mm,
just, expecting so much from me, and instead of giving myself the permission to be human, I just, pressed and pushed and pushed and pushed more until, you just get to be exhausted. So, yeah, the book is a mix of mistakes of, about my relationship, how it affected my relationship with my husband, also my relationship with my kids, but mostly my relationship with myself. I
mm.
lost my identity. I didn't know who I was after I gave birth. I was thinking, oh, I'm just a mom. Like, oh, this is so shameful.
Un-
So yeah, yeah, many things. I talk there very open. It's a honest, raw autobiography, if I could say that. And I've got a lot of messages of moms telling me I can rely so much. I've been there, done that. It's so beautiful that you've said that. And
mm,
also it's very easy to read, because the mistakes, there are 99, but each one of them, it has like a very clear format. You have the mistake, then you have a quote, then you
mm.
have my story, most of all, like I mean, in all of them, it has a story, and then what did the research say? So everything that I talk about after that is this is what the research says. So it's science based, kind of, not kind of. It is science based, and then at the end you have how to avoid the mistake. So a few tips, very practical. Your turn to reflect. So it can be used as a workbook. It can be used as some, like can literally, you can stop and you can think about yourself. And then a mantra at the end, just like, so,
This is beautiful. I am going to, I just open this up. Mistake number 46. I didn't hand over the broom or teach them basic chores. And underneath, which, oh my goodness. And underneath that, don't handicap your children by making their lives easy, which is Robert Heinlein, I believe is how you pronounce his name. So then, and then you're writing, and then just be consistent, make it a routine, not a rescue, tie chores to values, not rewards, model it yourself. Model it yourself. I'd like to highlight that. And and then you give us, like you said, your turn to reflect, and you give us questions, prompts to think through this reflection, which I am so excited about. And then the mantra for this number 46, a home is shared, so is the work it takes to keep it whole. How beautiful. I
thank you.
Luca, I'm looking so forward to this, and I know that I can't wait. What a fabulous gift to so many, right? And I mean, and actually a gift that I will be able to give others.
Lit-
Give
Yes,
your this is amazing. I want to back up first to what you said. One of the things you've mentioned is perfectionism. I think that that is something so many relate to. And it comes from such a good place. We want to do not just a good job, but we not even excellent. We want it to be perfect. And we
Yeah.
all know that doesn't exist in any form ever. However, I also want to back up to what inspired, give us a little bit of what inspired you to write the book.
Hmm. That's an easy and a tough question, but a very interesting one for sure. It's a soul project. I always loved how to, I loved how to write since I learned, since I was a kid. It was the way of, of expressing myself, expressing my feelings, my thoughts. It came out very natural for me. And I knew more or less, I would go to contests in literature and stuff at school, but nobody really encouraged me to say, like, you should really have a career and, go and just, write as much as possible. So I got the idea, I think like more than 5 years ago, really a while ago, and I just didn't have the courage. I was sharing it with people, but I think there's like a big leap. Like a lot of people have a lot of ideas, and it's not only about books. You have like projects, and I was getting statistics, and I think that more than 80% of people have really have an idea for a book. Well, then something like 15% they actually start. Lower than this, it's like 8% they actually finish, and then it's something with 5% to even less that they actually finish the book and publish. I
Mhm.
don't remember exactly the last ones, but more than 80% of people have an idea. It's true. So for me, it was like I turned 40 a year ago. And I was like, this is my year. Like, that's it. I'm taking the book out no matter what. And so of course the book was inspired by my daily life. My girls inspired me, right? And everything what happened in my journey and my transformation as a mom, but not only as a mom, but as a human being, since I gave birth. I had no idea, and because nobody gives you a manual, how to do it. Nobody, the kids, they don't come with the, like IKEA with the. they- so I had no idea. I really made a lot of mistakes, and then, so what I wanted to say was that it was inspired by them, but then it was like a whole thing was like, okay, I have an idea, I have a goal, I want to take it from point A to point B. And I haven't done it alone. It was a teamwork. So I've got a coach, and she was really keeping me accountability, like,
Yes.
her. So she was the one texting me, and we would meet like every week. And she would we had the deadline. Of course, it was more or less, it did. So I had the idea in January. I started writing in January 2025, and I published in January 2026. It took me exactly a year, yeah. But again, the editor, like, which was also the publishing house, from the publishing house, my coach, my professor that was, supporting me. There were a lot of people there cheering for me, including my girls, and I'm very happy that I've done it. It was not easy, but
And congratulations. I believe the percentage that actually finish, publish, like you were saying, the percentages get less and less. It's like 3%.
probably, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it is so congratulations. We see these books and we meet one another, everybody that's writing and creating. So it doesn't seem like it's just a small percentage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
However, it really is. So congratulations to you. I was thinking, with your book, it so matches, of course, what you do because it's really and truly it's relocate to happiness.
It's true.
And you, with your book and the tools you share in the book, you are leading through mistakes to happiness.
That's true. That's
To
it.
it's beautiful how I love how you've merged what you do day to day and what you talk about, what you strive for, but you don't say this is how you do it. You allow, I'm going to say, like a good counselor, you have each individual dig deep for the answers of what really is going to take them towards happiness. And if I may, I'm going to say towards joy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Those they're different, but I had you done counseling and had you been coaching and had you been speaking for a while, because I know you had the girls. And so that's now 10 years ago.
Exactly, yes.
And, prior to that, and there's so many things to ask you. Another thing you touched upon was that you thought you were, oh gosh, I'm just a mom, before you realized it's the most important role on the planet.
It's true. It's, yeah. Thank you again. It's true. And it's okay also just to be a mom. But I've always been like a hyperactive, very ambitious, very, wanted to do everything and juggling everything at the same time, which I think is a problem in today's society that, you want to do so many things in 24 hours of the day, and you cannot do it. And then you find yourself exhausted. But that's another, just to answer to your question. Yes, so I've taken a course in positive psychology with Dr. Tal Ben Shahar. He was a professor at Harvard University, and he had a course in positive psychology and leadership and psychology. And yeah, I started in 2020 during COVID. Also, a
Yes.
very problematic moment for all of us, when a lot of people quit their jobs and did, completely relocating, to other lives. I've done the course with him. I did a coaching with another professor, like life coaching and then parenting coaching. And I was being coached myself. This is how it started actually. And after 1 year and a half, the girl, the coach that was training me was like, listen, I don't know what you want. You already know everything. Okay, we can meet every week. It's fine. Uh, but you can move forward. And then I understood, you know what? I want to help others myself. I've been coached myself. I want to be a coach. I want to help people. I love listening to people, learning from people. In each session that I have, it's just like an opportunity for grow, like to grow for myself.
Yes.
And yes, so I've started with a course, then slowly I've been participating into retreats. Then slowly, I started to gain more confidence after training some people. So I did some workshops. I found myself having a podcast, Relocate to Happiness myself, that also I'm very proud of, although you all know how much work it is, to do this. And again, it looks very nice on the camera, but nobody knows the work behind the camera, the meetings, the everything, how you get everything done. Not to talk about editing, and which I handed to the professionals. So it was a big journey for me, and I'm still going. And it's a continuous journey also for me and also for the others, to relocate them to happiness and to journey
Ah,
to self-acceptance and self-love.
it well, it's such a beautiful mission, right? And I think that first of all, I love your coach said, okay, it's time. You you can fly. It's okay. Get out there and start helping people because you know so much. And I love that. So I love this. I'm going to read your mission statement that everyone can see. And of course, audience, is always, every way to get in touch with and follow and get involved with Luca will all be shared with you. But this says to relocate to happiness. We help individuals break free from the rat race, empower moms to thrive, and support anyone ready to prioritize their mental health. Oh my goodness. Unlocking all of us in the audience, potential for a balanced, fulfilling, and meaningful life. I'm not sure that that does not speak to, I'll say 80%. I like the 80-20 rule.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Percent of the population, we are, if we are not careful, we're just in a rat race.
Constantly.
And it's so, like you said, we have this 24 hours, and we really would like to do all of it, everything that's on our mind, everything on the list, everything that we prioritize, every single thing. And not only that, we want to do it perfectly. So we're throwing perfection and not being present and all these things into this rat race.
Yeah.
And I love that pre-show for the audience to know. Luca and I jumped on to talk about this fun conversation. And, you know, life is life. And she said, all these not big things, but little things have been going on. They weren't working out perfectly. I was having an IT issue. And to be honest, it wasn't the IT, it was the operator. And so and I was running a few minutes behind, and I like to be a few minutes early. And it was interesting. We both said, but it's okay.
It's true. When you
It
want to make it happen, it happens.
That's right. And it's okay to do it, enjoy it, you know, 3 minutes behind, our hair's not perfect. I thought to myself, I need to look. I mean, really and truly. And I think that I know our audience appreciates just regular life and vulnerability, because this is not our day-to-day lives. They're messy.
It's true.
They're messy. And the other thing that you mentioned, which is so wonderful, is that as podcasters, and I'm going to say this for anyone, even with your book, with the anthology we're working on, it works, and it works well because of a team of people.
It's true.
It's so incredible for in this. I remember I used to sell real estate full time. I loved it. It's such an intimate, beautiful, incredible uh, business. I love it. I was doing it before there were teams.
Mm-hmm.
It was more, it felt like, I don't think it was, but I think it was more competition rather than collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
It was 24/7. So the next thing you know, you're never in balance. And the minute I said, y'all, my goodness, this is a team sport. And what you mentioned here, so anyone that's listening, I just want to point out that Luca mentioned all the people involved in her book to getting it done, from her girls being her teachers and cheering her on, editor, publisher, coach. I mean, it's teamwork. And I know I say it a lot, teamwork makes the dream work. And I believe that each of us, whatever our mission is, 1 + 1 can equal 11. And it's a team. I think that we need to grow teams and our relationships so that we can relocate to happiness. Would you agree with that, Luca?
I completely agree with that, and I think I did mention I forgot to mention a few people on the way, because I think that each person that teach that you meet every day can teach you something. And like for me, for example, every mistake that I have done, it was a mirror for myself, to learn and to, it's like, okay, what's happening here? And also to write about it was very, very hard, especially the chapter about emotions. I was drained at the end, like I would, wow, I was really, really, it really affected me when I was writing it, because I went back and I remember all kind of mistakes before I started to learn about positive psychology and about coaching. But yeah, I believe in the power of people. I think that helping each other and working as a team and how do you say that, cooperate, not cooperation,
Collaboration.
but
Yes.
collaboration, but a co-independent, like not competition and not
Right.
individualism, but to co-create.
Co-create.
So I don't think that we could have I could have done many things without people around me, and I including raising my kids. You need to have your team, like a backup team for you to help you, and I don't have my family here. We are like expats in Portugal, so from both my family and my husband's family, we don't have anybody, except for our friends, except for the help. So yeah, I think that one of the, if I understood correctly your question, I think the secret is here is creating a tribe of people that believe in you, that support you. They're there to cheer for you and to help you, to pull yourself up, because we don't always have the best days, how you said. And it is in the small things. It's, yeah, yeah, you wanted to say.
No, it's just what you're saying. It's so true. We need to create deeper relationships.
Yes, and create communities and connection, yeah, connection and deeper relationships. Yeah, you couldn't have said it better.
There's a beautiful quote. I can't believe I say it so often that I can't believe I don't have it memorized uh, exactly. So I'm actually going to say, um, but ultimately, this every single solitary, here it is right here. I'm going to pull it up because I want to quote him correctly.
Mm-hmm.
It is, we are the sum of all people we have ever met. You change the tribe, and the tribe changes you. And
You, who said that?
Dirk, I don't want to pronounce his name. You talk about amazing. Dirk, Dirt Wittenborn from Fierce People is the movie. And I
Mm-hmm.
watched this movie and I heard this line, and I really and truly, I'm looking right here to make sure I do it correctly. You cannot believe, look, it's right here, Dirt, because we are doing a workshop, and it's Dirt Wittenborn, but really and truly, it was absolutely a gift to watch this movie and hear this because it's the truth. Like you said, people we meet day to day. I think we're much more connected than people even like to admit.
It's true.
Do you
Everything
think?
is interconnected. We also learn this in all the courses of positive psychology. Everything is interconnected. We are all interconnected. Everything that, it's a spiral. So if we create a spiral of positivity, it will, reach and create more positive things. If we go in, and the world now is a bit in a negative spot, so it's up to us to turn it back to turn the spiral in the upper spiral, not not to go down.
I completely agree. And my question is, do you think people, it's easier to talk about the disconnect and what's not going on that's good? Because when we talk about being connected, all of a sudden there is some responsibility and accountability to make that change and to realize that we have a ripple effect from what we do. Do you think that's why people avoid connection?
I think that people avoid not connection, maybe avoid responsibility. I think it's more difficult to rewire your brain in a positive way with positive thoughts than to to let go for the negative thoughts, because our brain creates a lot of thoughts,
Mm.
per minute, per second. We're all the time overthinking and thinking, so it's easier to feel negative, to talk about negative things, and to fall into this negative spiral, especially with the social media that
Yes,
today you can just go and see all this stuff. So I think it's a bit more difficult to rewire or to focus on the positive because it's a bit of more of a work. I think that we can all, like you don't have to do world peace now, or you just create that community or create that connection within your closer community, within your neighborhood, within your like closer family and everything, in your home city.
that's
And then
right.
it will affect the others. And then, even from if you smile in the morning and you say good morning to the how do you call the gate, no, the gatekeeper, the
Well,
the person that opened the door, like or
yeah,
to the,
the greeter. Yes.
exactly, the greeter. My girls have a greeter, Miguel, in the at school. So I leave them at the door and I say good morning. I said good morning, and he smiles, and he always smile. So even that, he smiles to me, I smile I smile back to him. When I turn, I smile at another parent. So
Yes.
it's like from the small things that, from that, you don't have to do something huge. It's in the small things, of kindness, like acts of kindness. You have to be kind and positive to each other. That this is how you're going to create this connection and these changes. Does it make sense?
So much sense. We speak about this in this beautiful Bible study that I have the opportunity to be part of. But they talk about, we're called and given gifts to do great works. Great works might not be Mother Teresa. Those are everyone recognizes her works as she says a great work is smiling to the people in your own home because that
True, it's true. I know the quote.
and you have described it so beautifully because that gentleman, Miguel, he starts a ripple effect of smiles for everybody he sees. And then they turn around, just like you said, and then you're smiling at the next person. That is a great work.
It's true. And you never know what is going through his soul or what have he has been through. I really don't know about his family, about, you never know what it is. But he's there and he smiles, and you know what? Most of the days he does make my day more beautiful.
Uh,
And yeah,
and so cool that he's smiling at your girls.
it's true.
You
No,
know,
and then it's like he has to give
welcome.
five, give me five.
Oh my gosh. Well, let me ask you a question. I know the audience knows this. I would love for this conversation, and we will have many, many more. However, for this conversation, I want to again point out what this title of this incredible book, I can already tell just from that my one little number 46. But what I love is that with your positive psychology, which I so applaud and believe in, these mistakes have turned into lessons, which means they've become successes because you apply what you learned into the next part, the next chapter for your next two books. You're building upon lessons created from mistakes.
Yes. It's it's true, but it's not only that. So yes, mistake. I'm looking at mistake as at a point of how I told you, of like of personal growth, and I think I would give I don't know if you know Carol Dweck. She talks about fixed mindset and growth mindset.
I don't know if it's Carol because I'm thinking of Deb is who comes to my
No,
mind.
it's
Okay.
Carol Dweck, like this one specifically. So I think it's, it helps because it really reframes everything that you see in life and what you do. But except for taking the mistake and looking at this, I think the book itself, I really wanted to empower the other moms and
Yes.
to give them, the how I told you, the permission to be human and to say it's okay to make mistakes and still build a beautiful relationship with your kids, because this is what happened with me. Even if I made all these mistakes, and probably this were the, I told you, and I'm not joking, this were the short list, because I did have a few other ones written on the side, and I didn't write them. So even when you make mistakes, you can still create a lot of connection with the kids, as long as it's connection and it's not correction. And also with the moms, it's so important to stop comparing ourselves and to look
Oh,
on social media and to believe that everything, it's perfect in other people's life. Because I thought that everybody else has it already figured. I really believe that I'm the worst mom in the world, that I don't know what to do, anything. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing, that I'm going to destroy the life of my kids. They will, and oh my God. And it was not like that. So I think it was like an honest, raw story to make the other believe that you're not alone. You shouldn't feel guilty. You shouldn't feel so much shame. You shouldn't feel that you're the worst mom. It's all of us. We're also all making mistakes. We just don't talk about it. We just don't normalize it.
oh, oh, I have this many, many beautiful nieces and nephews, and one in particular, she was nursing, excuse me, she was during nursing and breastfeeding, and it was before she had her pump because she was at work or trying to go out and she wanted to do it this way. She said, I'm just trying to normalize pumping.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so whatever we're trying to do, you know, she was brave. She talked about it. And what you're saying is so beautiful, because what you're saying, let's talk about it, because we are all doing this messy and none of us are doing it perfectly. And it certainly does not look like the perfect pictures on Instagram. And, I think everybody should be required, if you have a beautiful picture on Instagram, you need to turn around and take a picture of what's going on behind that.
Yes, an unfiltered motherhood picture.
Yes, unfiltered motherhood picture. Well, this is just the beginning of relocating to happiness. And
Amen. Definitely.
Luca, I just now want to get into some very specific questions now that we've had this one wonderful, just very general conversation. Is there anything you'd like to leave the audience with today to reflect upon?
That's a very good question. I didn't think about this, but I will definitely, first of all, I will invite them to go to on Instagram if people want to write me at 99 mistakes, 99 mom mistakes on Instagram, or on the other one at relocate to happiness also, and to write me about their mistakes, because
Yeah.
yes, so I will definitely use it for my research, and I promise also to answer every one of them. So this is one of the things. And wow, what shall I tell you? Um, what would be the last thing that I would probably say is learn to fail or fail to learn.
Mm,
Mm, Use everything, use each mistake as a lesson, and grow from it and learn from it.
mm. I love that, because mainly that's the reason I'm here. I'm not here as an expert. I'm here as someone who has, through mistakes, very gratefully have, learned so much. When you become 110, you've made a lot more than your short list of 99 mistakes. Luca, and again, I know the audience, all the ways to follow, whether it be on Instagram, going to her website, getting her book, please connect, reach out, send in those mistakes and questions. What a pleasure.
The pleasure was mine, definitely. Yeah, very, very short.
Oh my
Felt
goodness.
like we just started talking.
I know. But we're going to have another conversation soon, and we'll check in on different mistakes, new things to talk about and to learn. And you know what, audience, thank you so very much. Let's all think about and get this book and think about the reflections and how to avoid and to learn and different mantras and relocate to happiness. And thank you, Father. Thank you, Luca. Thank you, audience. Hook 'em.